Hey, what's up, everyone? How you guys doing, man? I just got my new chair, and that's why I'm chilling in it. And I came by to give you my thoughts and reviews of this week's NBA season. The NBA games were actually amazing, and Celtics were actually leading against Miami Heat. Had a devastating game. It was 110, I think 117 to 110. The game turned out very close, and Jazz pull out the most amazing comeback against Miami Heat. Jazz have been the king of comebacks, and they've been impressing me. They came back against the Hawks, against the Magics, and then Miami Heat. I don't know, did they beat Magics? I would have been surprised if they did, but I know Miami Heat was the best game ever. I wish I saved it and I saw the overtime. The overtime game really rocked the house, and I was really impressed with that game. That game has really been impressing me a lot. Um, so Darren Williams has been the sickest player so far as a point guard. He's been really nasty. He's been really impressing me so far. It's just been really great, and I was really thrilled about it, man. I'm telling you, man. So with Darren Williams, if they keep, doing the same playbook and keep doing what they're sticking to, they can really, really continue to pull out a spectacular season. I'm seeing them having a spectacular season, beating all these spectacular teams. Like Miami Heat has been spectacular on paper, but they got to work their way up there. I thought they would be practicing hard because in real life, when you recruit new players, usually you have to really practice. Because in a video game, if your team's projected good, then you usually work with them. But I just saw Clippers and Pistons. They had a surprising game leading to overtime, but surprisingly, the team demolished. The team is demolished after overtime. I just saw that game. That game was just very distraught. I was very distraught by the game. I was very disgusted that they were breaking shots. I thought because it's 42 seconds they can make a spectacular comeback. That's just too much hope in my gut for them to come back, but they missed a lot. It's just miserable right there. That got disgusted, and it's been a close game. I was very impressed with the NBA season. NBA season's really been picking up. They've really been picking up a lot. Like they start off slow. Like last week games or the first week game of the season were mediocre. Like the games weren't even close. Like they just easily blew them out. And I gotta say, I wasn't really impressed with that. Like the Miami Heat Magic game, I know Miami Magic I think blew out Orlando. Like what's up with Orlando? I know most of the games I've been seeing, they've been losing the games. I gotta see their records. I was very steamed that they lost to Toronto. A 1-7 team. They lost to the most mediocre team, Toronto Raptors. What was up with that? That was just very distraught to see. It's early in the season so far, so hopefully the Raptors doesn't get over Orlando in any way. So for the most part, with Portland, I saw that Portland game. That game was very exciting. They're early in the season, but that game was really picked up. And for Brandon Roy pulled off an excellent game in Portland. And what team did they play? Oh, Oklahoma City Thunder. Oklahoma City's been having a spectacular season ever since moving to Oklahoma City. In Seattle, I don't know when they're going to have an NBA team. I'm surprised they lost an NBA team. But now Jim Ross, Jack Swagger from Oklahoma have an NBA team. Hopefully they support the Oklahoma City Thunder when they go to Oklahoma. Because I know they were in Oklahoma when SmackDown started. But for the most part, personally, I was really impressed, quite frankly, with the Oklahoma City Thunder. They've been pretty impressive. In Portland, I think they made that one mistake. I think Brandon Roy should have passed it to that center in the post. Don't force it in there and try and go for three. The three was the most risky. Like, it looked like they were just forcing the win. That was the problem. They forced the win. If they passed it to that center in the post, they would have tied that game and would have went to overtime. But I would have went for two and just played safe. I want to try to put all my hopes up there trying to go for the win. Because, frankly, if you try and go for the win, then, go for the win like you tried to with that attempt, then you would have lost. Like, 3 points are, awfully risky, quite frankly, I have to say. Like, going for the three and throwing it up in the air like that. But, yeah, moving on, Game was great. LA Clippers and Pistons have pulled off a good game. What other game? Oh, Jazz and Hawks. That game was very great. I was very impressed with that game. I was so into it. Just like how the last game with Lakers and Nuggets, I didn't know who won that game, but I know that game was very close, and I was really, really impressed. But the other game, I forgot what I saw. Celtics and Heat, yeah. But those games have been pulling out very close, and I gotta say, the NBA season's been really I like how they've been picking up. They've really been picking up, pulling off some close and exciting games. We don't really expect that early in the season, but since it's 82 games, they try and get an early win so they can, be comfortable. So I think that's great because usually with MLB, they always start very slow. Like the Yankees always have a slow start. They don't start off like very good, and then by the end of the season, halfway through the season, they can really pick it up very well. Because frankly, that always happens. Like you start slow, and then when the teams start picking it up, that's when you can see like even a bigger impact, and you could like see how they could like pick it up halfway through the season. They start really racing for the playoffs, and that's when end of the season gets very intense, and that's what you see. So that's what I think for the most part, I have to say. But I think with this NBA season, this NBA season may do good. Hopefully, hopefully halfway through the season we don't start slow for the All-Star game, because now after All-Star game, that's when everything picks up. So I think for the most part, for Orlando, who is currently 5-3 now, Orlando is now 5-3. Hopefully Orlando picks it up halfway through the season. And Celtics have been impressive. Ever since recruiting Shaq, they know they're gonna, have some crashing injuries for Celtics. They kind of have it together. I have to say they got the whole package together. So hopefully they have a good season. So if they keep using Shaq very well, I'll be pretty much impressed. And I have to say that would be very incredible. But but yeah, I mean the season, even bad teams with Pistons and Clippers, because I know Pistons had a very slow season last year. They haven't been doing that great. They were 29-53 or 23-59, and Clippers, haven't been doing that great. But they pulled off a close game. But Ronnie Stuckey's been impressed me a lot. Hopefully, if they can build with that guy, they're trying to build him as a point guard, and if they can build with Rip and Tayshaun, or if they get a new point guard like the Hawks did and they pull off a surprising season, then I'll see what happens from there. But that would be very impressive. So for the most part, I'll be catching up with what's going on with the NBA. But I think I've been very impressed. Boozer, him on the Bulls. The Jazz have been still doing spectacular without Boozer, and I know that was their key center. So I'll see what happens there. So with all colleagues, man, and I'll catch up with. Subscribe to me up there. Leave your comments below. It's Ronaldo Colleagues. Peace out.